defense really anything more than effort? Jerry Sloan preached that. He said all the time, Jeff Hornacek.
Everything that we do, we got to be consistent, okay? That's one thing. We talked about Jerry Sloan. We talk about the kind of his style of coaching and why his team.
And there he is, Hall of Famer, head coach of the Jazz, Jerry Sloan.
I know a lot of important people who worry about their legacy. Well, Jerry Sloan isn't one of them. He's never cared about that. He doesn't have to. My greatest contribution to the organization and who the Jazz were and the step they were to take is when I resigned. I think then Jerry Sloan took them to another level. Yeah, that's me. I said it. Somebody the other day asked me to describe Jerry Sloan in one word. I didn't have to think about that very long. It's loyalty.
And I just was lucky I got a job here. And I could have worked with Frank the rest of my life.
But that would have been a mistake. Jerry has always been his own man. If it's true, like everybody says, that Jerry is old school, then his classroom was his family farm in Illinois. He was the youngest of 10 children. His dad died when he was 4. Chores started at 5 a.m. and then a 2-mile walk to school. It wasn't easy growing up a Sloan.
You come in of a night, you ate your supper, you was pretty well interested in getting some rest, because you know the next morning, 4 daylight, you're going to be up.
He didn't parade around because we didn't have electricity till I was about 6th, 7th
1946.
grade.
Basketball was Jerry's ticket to move on. He was All-State at McLeansboro High, led the University of Evansville to 2 NCAA Division II championships. And then in 1966, he landed with the brand new team in Chicago, the Bulls. He was the original Bull, a tenacious defensive player, hard-nosed, the scrapper.
I would get physically ill at a lot of the games because he was so tenacious, and every time the whole crowd used to stand, I knew it was because Dad was getting into a fight.
For 10 years, he rumbled through the NBA, twice an All-Star. The Bulls liked him enough to hire him as their head coach. Then they fired him after 3 seasons, and later they regretted it. Jerry went back to the farm. I was coaching the Jazz at the time, and in 1984, I had an opening because one of my assistants was leaving to coach the Kansas City Kings.
Frank asked me who should replace me. I had a chance to be a head coach, and I said, Jerry Sloan. He said, well, would you call him for me? So I called Jerry to replace me.
Plainsboro and Salt Lake City are different worlds, but Utahns stuck to Jerry's no-nonsense profile.
Jerry Sloan had this aura about him that was, don't mess with me. He was the Clint Eastwood of the hardwoods.
When we hired Jerry to take over the team in 1988, he had just one condition. He wanted to be fired for his own decisions. He would be in control of the team, not the players.
Frank had set the stage because of Jerry being a no-nonsense guy. He talked to the team. He would say, hey, it's going to be my way or the highway. And he got the backing of Larry Miller.
I like Jerry Sloan, and I'm glad he's our coach, and I hope he is coaching this team for a long time, and frankly, I suspect he will be.
And he was, because Larry and Jerry agreed on what it meant to be a part of the Utah Jazz.
Still down on the bench.
Everyone who's played for or against him can define the Sloan style.
You know what? That is Jerry Sloan basketball. You got 1-2 players down.
Get your nose in there and get it busted kind of guy, wipe it off and go back and do it again.
Well, he's intense. You know, he wanted to win.
Attention to detail.
Tuck his shirt in.
From the old school, he's just like, get it done.
Hard-nosed.
Fiery.
Discipline.
Tough, but lovable.
When you go to do a job, you do it.
Be on time and work hard every day.
Thanks, pay attention.
And be ready to play. In terms familiar to that kid from McLeansboro, if you don't sow, you don't reap. You don't reap, you don't eat.
Get your body on it. Don't let him go where he wants to go.
His teams embodied as close as you can get to perfection offensively. I mean, they would cut you up.
Jerry's passion rallied his players. Challenged referees, and even stirred up the opposition at times. Just ask Dennis Rodman.
Gets away. Here's a fight as Rodman wants to go after Stockton.
There was a screen set there, and Stockton set the screen, and Rodman came across and hit him across the face with an elbow. Down went John like a ton of bricks. I didn't know he was going to get up. And Sloan, that happened down at the Detroit end of the floor, and we're at the other end. Sloan had to get up. He was down there within 10 seconds. He was gone, running down there. And he looked right at Robin and said, pick on somebody your own size. Try me out.
Phil Jackson once said that Dennis Rodman needed patience and understanding, and Jerry would have said what he needs is a swift kick in the wazoo.
Actually, Jerry was a man of few words. He just tended to use a select few more than others. As head coach, he started off with 15 straight playoff appearances, 2 that went all the way to the finals.
John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals.
Everyone loves to see the shot. But the biggest surprise of that night in 1997 was video proof of Jerry Sloan caught in the act of celebrating.
What I really wanted to do is to run off in the tunnel and get out of the way. Because you're the coach, but I never thought of myself as the winning coach or anything like that. I thought it was all for the players. That was a fun time to see them. John Stockton jumping up in the air, and you thought he was dunking a ball, you know, and he couldn't jump over a newspaper.
You got to believe you can beat them. You guys did one great job today.
Jerry was quick to credit his players for the team's success.
I think anybody could have won with the players that they have here.
And even quicker at deflecting attention away from himself.
And tonight, Jerry Sloan wins number 1,000.
Of course, Jerry was gracious, but you know he'd rather be pulling a plow over a pile of rocks than be under that spotlight. That was true of his personal trials as well. He felt the illness and passing of his beloved wife, Bobby, was a path best traveled privately with his family. For all his passion, he possessed a bold perspective that when the game was done, it was done. He never brought it home with him.
I had the job in Evansville, Indiana for 5 days, and I turned that job down, and the guy who replaced me was killed in a plane crash with all the players. And from that point on, I realized you can put a lot into it, but when it's over, it's just a game.
That's a pretty sobering philosophy from a guy who in 2009 was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, alongside some of the guys who helped define the game itself.
As I mentioned earlier, I've learned that there are many things in life more important than basketball, but meeting my wife Tammy and my stepson Red has allowed me to continue on with my career in basketball when I question my strength to do so.
At the end of the day, he's going to look back and no one gave him anything. He earned everything he got, and when he leaves the game, he's going to leave it on his own terms.
Well, I know that all good things must come to an end. And today is the end of an amazing era.
Today's a new day. I get this over with. I know I'm going to feel much better. My time is up, and it's time for me to move on.
Jerry retired the same way he coached, decisive, no regrets, no axes to grind, and supportive of the guy who had to fill his shoes.
Will you talk to the players?
No, they don't need me. They need their head coach to be there for them. Ty will do that and move forward. They got a game tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Jerry Sloan.
I was very proud when they hoisted Jerry's banner to the top of the arena, but Utahns got more than just 1,223 wins, which at the time was the most by a coach with a single franchise. We got a good guy off the court, a good husband and father. A guy who would stare down a stranger walking by him in the concourse just to say hi.
Jerry Sloan, is that you?
That's me.
They got a good sport.
Oh, Jay Sloan.
A guy who could keep the bear in check. At least sometimes. And a guy with a sense of humor.
Do I have to have a talking machine to talk on?
He's already hooked you up.
Where?
Right there.
You did?
Yeah,
I didn't even know you did that, Corey. I got so busy talking, I didn't even know you talked. That's honest. That's pretty slick. You could stole my wallet while you're doing that.
You better check yourself.
Hell yeah. Well,
I have a thought for you moms and dads out there. Whenever I size up a coach, I ask myself, is this someone I would want my grandchildren or children to play for? Oh, I don't care so much about the X's and O's. That's easy. But I want to know that he cares about his players and expects them to work hard and do their best. Would I want my grandchildren to play for Jerry Sloan? Every time. The state of sport in Utah has done pretty well by that old farmer from McLeansboro.